Hello everyone. In this module, we are going to learn how to create a stacked bar chart in Matplotlib. And the following are the topics that we are going to cover. Firstly, we will learn what is stacked bar chart. After that, we will discuss some characteristics of it. Then we will see in which areas stacked bar chart is used. After that, we will discuss some types of stacked bar chart. And in last, we will learn syntax to create a stacked bar chart, and we will also see examples related to it. Basically, stacked bar chart is the extended type of a bar chart. It is also referred to as a composite bar graph. Stacked bar chart splits the entire bar into a segments, and each rectangular bar represents the entire graph, and each segment in the rectangular bar represent the various component of the entire graph. Suppose if we have a multiple set of data in a single category, we can draw a bar for each set of data and we can place that bar on another bar. For example, I have a category of a woman and I create a bar for it. I also have a category for a man and I create a bar for it. If I place a man bar on a woman bar, it represents a stacked bar chart. It is divided into segments, but in whole it represents the entire graph. Or in others word, we can say that if we have multiple height for a single x value and we can draw a bar for each height and we can place them on one above the another to form a single bar. And there are few characteristics that distinguish stacked bar chart from other types of graphs are as follow. In stacked bar chart, each segment of a bar is represented by a different color to make it easier to distinguish between the many categories. The another characteristic of a stacked bar is it requires appropriate labeling to distinguish the various segment of the bar. The next one is stacked bar are effective at highlighting the total while also indicating how the total for each category value is split into parts. And the last characteristic of the stacked bar chart is that it can have one category axis and up to two numerical axes. The numerical axis indicate the data values while the category axis describe the types of a categories being compared. And in statistics, a stacked bar chart is frequently used to represent the following data: the nominal comparison, part to whole, distributions, ranking, and deviation also. And basically, there are two types of stacked bar chart. The first one is vertical stacked bar chart. The next one is horizontal stacked bar chart. A vertical stacked bar chart is created when data is displayed by the vertical bars on a graph. And horizontal stacked bar chart are graphs in which the given data is represented by a horizontal bar on the graph. Now we will see the syntax to create vertical stacked bar chart. The syntax to create the vertical stacked bar chart is similar to the simple bar chart which we discussed in previous module. So I repeat it once. It is matplotlib pyplot.bar in which we pass the parameters as x, height, width, bottom, align, data, and other keyword argument. This syntax makes a bar plot and the bars are positions at x with the given alignment and their height and width determine their size. And to make it stacked, the bottom is set to the base of the bar on which the segment of the bar is to be plotted. So now we see example to clear our concept. So here is the program, and in this I will create a simple bar graph so you can get difference between stacked bar chart and the bar chart. I explain you the code first. Firstly, I import the library matplotlib pyplot as plt. After that, I define the data coordinates such as US, state, name, and the cases. Then I plot a bar chart, a simple one, by calling the bar function which we discussed in the previous module also. So I pass two parameters to it as US state for x and cases for a height. I also call X label and the Y label function to add labels at the plot. Then I call the title function to add a title to the plot, so we can get to know this plot represents the COVID-19 cases by US state in December 2021. And then I call the xtick function to rotate the x-axis tick labels, and then in last I call the show function to display the graph. Now I execute this code. In this we are creating a bar graph using a bar function which represents the number of COVID cases by US state in December 2021. If I want to see how many females and how many males are affected by the COVID-19, for that I use the stacked bar chart. So I hope you get some knowledge in which cases we use stacked bar chart. Now I will show you how we divide the single bar of the chart into male and a female by using a stacked bar chart. Here I am using the same example, but some small changes are made. So I explain you. So firstly I create a bar by calling the bar function in which I pass US state as a X and the height as a female, and I also pass a label to add a label on the plot. Once again I call a bar function and pass a X as a US state and the height as a male in this case. And I also define bottom parameter, which is very important to convert a bar into a stacked bar graph. So I set its value to female because we want to put a bar of a male on above of a female bar, and I add a label to it male, and then I call a ligand function to show the ligand on the plot. The remaining code is same as the above. Now I execute this code. From this you can clearly see that a whole bar is divided into the two part. One represent the male, the another represent the female. This bar doesn't show you the exact number of a male or a female cases, but it show you the total number of the cases divided into the two parts. Now let's see one more example in which we use different parameters of a bar function. So in bar function I pass a width parameter to change the width of the bar and set it to 0.6, and I also change the color of the bars by calling the color function and set it to violet and a pink respectively. So now I execute this code, and from here you can clearly see that it decreases the width of the bars and also change the color of the bars. Now we will see the syntax to create a horizontal stacked bar chart. It is similar to the horizontal bar syntax, so I explain you once. The syntax is as matplotlib pyplot dot bar h, and we pass the parameter y, width, height, left align and keyword argument. It draws a horizontal bar graph. The bars are positioned at y with given alignment, and their width and the height determine their sizes, and the horizontal baseline left is used to set the base of the bar on which the segment of the bar is to be placed, and the parameters are the same as the one we talked about in the bar chart. So you can see all the parameters from the previous module. Now we will see examples related to horizontal stacked bar chart. So here is the code for creating a simple horizontal stacked bar chart. I explain you. Firstly, I import the Matplotlib pyplot library as PLT, as it is the necessary step. After that, I define the data coordinates such as product and the name of the companies like Philopia, LifePath, Ambio, Ozu. I explain these lines later. Firstly, I explain you how we plot a stacked bar chart. In the first line, I call the bar h function as we are plotting the horizontal stacked bar chart, and I pass the product and the company name as a parameter to it, and I also define label. Then once again I call the bar h function, and here I pass the product and the life path as a y and width parameter, and then I call the left parameter and set it to the Philopia as we want to place this bar above the Philopia bar. Then again I call the bar h function, and I call product and ambio data coordinates as a y and the width, and I call a left parameter and pass ambio value to it. which I defined here. So as we want this bar on above of Philopio and the live path bar, so here I add Philopio and the live path and use the for loop for adding both of them. And I also pass label to it, as labeling is very important in stacked bar chart. And once again I call the bar h function for Ozu and I pass parameter left and define as B Ozu, which means base Ozu. And for base Ozu value, I add Philopia, live path, MBO values by using the for function. Then I add labels at the axis, rating at the x-axis, and companies at the y-axis by calling the x label and the y label function. Then I call the title function to add title on the plot, which represents that the plot shows the rating of a different product of a different companies. Then I call the ligand function to add the ligand to a plot, and I set its position by calling the bb box to anchor parameter and sets its value to 0.75, 0.2, 0.52 and 0.5. And I also pass a location parameter to set it to be a best. And in last I call the show function to display the graph. Now I execute this code and you can clearly see that it represents the stack bar in horizontal alignment. And here is the ligand which shows us that which color represent the which company. Now we will see different parameters of a bar h function. So I explain you. In all these lines, I call a color function and set different color for each bar, and I also set the height for the bar to 0.5. Now I execute this code and you can clearly see that the color of each bar is changed and the height of the bar is reduced to 0.5. With this, we have learned how to create a stacked bar chart, and in the next module, we will learn how we can create the group bar chart.